Welcome to another video from Jeff and Jen with our life here in the Philippines. This video has been in the making for 4 months. As we see here on the screen here, this is in October, about a few weeks after we arrived, just surveying the land that we had just purchased. And it was full of coconut and mahogany stumps, because this used to be a coconut plantation at one time, and the trees were chopped down long before we got here. The first thing that we decided to do was hire an excavator to remove the stumps, and because there were so many. And this excavator, with this talented operator and his assistant here, who's watching over the 2 power lines. We have power line for our well, and for the main power line from the power company. Removed 27 stumps, and tried to level the land a little bit and loosen up our soil. And at the same time, while the excavator was here, Jen had the bright idea of saying, hey, let's get the excavator to dig us a hole for our septic tank, which was 2 meters deep and 2 meters wide and 3 meters long. So that was a major task that was also done at this time. And it was well worth the cost of it. They came and spent most of the day doing that, and we were very happy that we got rid of all those stumps. In this section of this video here is I'm just putting some bamboo stakes in the ground and just getting a general layout of where our house is going to be. This here bamboo represents a possible location for the center of one of our domes, which would be our master bedroom, and the other ones are there, and we just wanted to know the general area where we were going to be building. Then we started to backfill, which was the main work of the entire project. And here we hired a different company to bring in a front end loader, and this was disappointing because they showed up late, and the operator wasn't very talented at all. And when they showed up later, then it started to rain and things got messy and sloppy, and they seemed to do more damage than they did anything good. And but we had 3 or 4 yards of 3/4 rock here as a good start to put down on the soil for our foundation. And so he somewhat managed to level that out, and that's all that happened that day. And we didn't invite them back, and we just had a hard time finding equipment. And so then hiring equipment here is very difficult. So we did pretty well everything from that point on by hand. And we contracted many dump trucks, many loads of rock, sand, and gravel to make our foundation. From the front of it to the back was over 4 feet difference in elevation. And so here we're just doing a base of bedroom number 2 here. And I'm here also in bedroom number 2 with that second load of rocks or third load of rocks. And we're just trying to flatten it out and get it to the proper elevation here. But also at the same time, I'm looking for rocks that are somewhat flat, that are stackable, and so that we can do the perimeter of this room and stack them up so they don't fall over. And it's not easy standing on these rocks. You can easily lose your balance. These rocks ranged anywhere from a couple pounds to 100 pounds. Like that big one in the foreground there, that's well over 100 pounds. And when they got that big, you didn't lift them up, you rolled them, right? And you rolled them into place. So yeah, this is the second bedroom, and it was 3 to 4 feet of rock, sand, and gravel, and compacted down. And we were constantly shifting and measuring to make sure that we were making this big enough. Here, Jen's also in on the act, and she's holding a piece of rebar right now, which was, we kept changing that, but that was supposed to be the center of this room, where we kind of would take a tape measure and measure out the radius, and so that we kind of had the proper dimensions for this room. I think it was on every room that we were out, and we had to continue to add more area to the house to make it exact. And this one here, bedroom number 3, where the biggest difference in elevation was 4 feet for sure. We finished it, and then we had to add another 2 feet on the side because it just wasn't enough. We didn't make the foundation backfill big enough. And this was backbreaking work, and we lost count of how many trucks and how many loads of rock that we had. But we were at it, started December 10th, and we worked on it almost 4 months. And so that's why we didn't do a lot of videos in that time, because it was just basically doing the same thing what you see in the videos here, day after day after day, and getting a load and using shovels and wheelbarrows and spreading it out and trying our best to flatten it and to level it out. Here we have a Bet, and Bet's our neighbor, and he's helped us out with quite a few things here with manual labor. And here I have a piece of rebar where we thought may be the center of our house, and attached on it is a piece of wood. And we're just trying to kind of level the ground off here. The leveling and the flattening of the ground was extremely difficult, and it always played tricks with your eyes. And so you go to actually measure it and level it, and you find out, wow, we're not even close, right? It looks level. Or when it was level and you sat and looked at it and you say, no, that's not level, and you keep going back and the level says it is level. So one of the things that, in the beginning what we did here was this, but I also buried some wooden boards and some steel studs in the ground, and I leveled them off and took a little bit of a grid pattern. And then that way I could at least level the center part of the house, and then work from there to try to get it flat. Where we are right now, where I'm right now, that was bedroom number 2, and we were kind of starting to get, somewhat flat. And then I come out at night with my laser level so I can get a real good reading, and I found out, oh wow, the back of that room still needs to come up 2 feet. Right now, I'm over there helping Jen out because Jen was working on building a French drain road. And so we were taking rocks that came off of our right-of-way road and making a drainage path for water. When our house is finally done, we're going to be, in the rainy season, having a lot of water come off of that house. And it's just, we don't want it to pool at the bottom of the house. We want it to flow away from the house. And so we are building this French drain there. And then we took our right-of-way road and we built a trench all the way across it. We dug approximately a foot wide and a foot to 2 feet deep and filled it all with gravel rock, and then covered it back up. And luckily, right after that, we got a really big rain, and we had a puddle, a big hole in there. Was a puddle that was left over from that front end loader there. And the water drained. So that was really good news. It actually worked. The French drain worked. And so here is what we did, for days upon days and weeks after weeks. It's just taking big piles of sand and rock that we got delivered and shoveling it and hoeing it and trying to level it and flatten it off. And it was often very frustrating, as I said, because it was very difficult to get the measurements of the house and stake it out because we don't have stakes. We don't have proper surveying equipment or things like that. And for the most part, I'd say about 75% of it was done by me. But Jen did come out and help, every now and then. And here she is trying to fill in a low spot in the master bedroom area near the French drain. And so she's getting her exercise today and filling up the wheelbarrow. We could never fill up the wheelbarrow full because even though we could lift it and push it, we would get stuck in the sand. And we as we brought in truck by truck, we bought a plate compactor, 60 kilogram plate compactor, and we continue to time after time after time to compact the soil and the sand and the rocks. So it's really, really hard. As we got to the top, though, as you see what I'm doing with a lot of the rakes, as we're getting near the top, started to take out some of the larger rocks because it was harder to flatten the ground. And so the base is really big rocks, and then medium-sized rocks, and then gravel rocks. And then and the last 1.5 inches, 2 inches is mostly sand. And so yeah, we like I said, we worked on it. It was frustrating, especially trying to level and to here you can actually see one of the boards I have in the ground, right? And it's barely visible there, but that board was level, and there was just actually about 4 or 5 boards buried in the ground there where we're trying to work off level. And again, the master bedroom was wrong size. We had to make it bigger, and the second bedroom we had to make bigger, and the third bedroom we had to make bigger, and even the bathroom we had to rebuild the wall 3 times. And even after the 3rd time, it was still slightly wrong, and we just said, you know what, we're not going to redo this again, because at that time I already had the underground pipe and plumbing done for it. It still works. It's not going to do there. Jen getting stuck a little bit because it was getting a little heavy, and the ground soft. But yeah, so we worked on this and worked on this and and again, it was kind of frustrating because we were wondering, like, is this ever going to end? And we're spending a lot of money on backfill, a lot of money, and but you know what? It got me more in shape. If you notice the beginning of the video to now, I probably have lost at this point close to 20 pounds, and I probably lost so far in 7 months here about 23 pounds I've lost. So and that's mostly out from the physical labor that we've been doing. And again, this is going to be kind of a 3-part series of just the foundation here. And part of the reason too why our videos are slow is because Jen's making the videos and she's learning how to use the softwares to do all these things, and so this is the big thing she's learned on this video is the voiceover recording. So this is the first time we've done a voiceover recording, and future videos I'm sure that she's going to practice, get more and more things we want to. And she wants to learn how to put like words and things and subtitles on the videos. And so, it's a learning process and takes time to learn these things, but she'll get that done. So again, I have my board there here, and you see I'm working up the board. We're trying to level the ground here, and the excess we're putting on off to the side. So, yeah, I don't know how much dirt we moved out. Well, no dirt, but sand and rocks. It was a tremendous amount to get it all done. The other kind of frustrating part is we have plans that I made for the house, and so there is plans. I know all the measurements, but it was like very difficult to stake this out and to figure it out where it is. So I had to continuously get back and mark things out to see, are we kind of on the right track? Are we where we're supposed to be? And so we continuously adjust the boundaries of the house so that they can fit into the blueprints. And as I said, we had to adjust this foundation that we're building, this backfill foundation, a lot, and I had to get out many nights. Of course, I couldn't put that out on video with a laser level. I have a laser level I brought from Canada, and it's okay. It's not like some of the better ones that are multi-directional, but it has a red light instead of a green light, and it really doesn't show up well in the daytime. So I have to come out at night where I can really see it well. And so I came out quite a few nights and put like bamboo stakes in the ground to see, hey, how is our leveling coming here. So there's two processes that we're kind of doing all the time. We're trying to flatten it out and level it out, and then every 4 inches or so, 5 inches, put a tamper on it, the clay compactor, and compact it all the time. So yeah, 4 months, extremely tiring, and at the same time we've been doing other things on our land too. Part of the things is we learned here is we kind of get into a routine, and so I would spend my mornings usually about 6:30 or so to 9:30 or 10 working on this foundation. So 3.5, 4 hours a day like that. And then that's when the hot part of the day comes, and we just kind of stop working then, right? And then you have to shift gears. So we worked on our second lot that we bought, and we were fencing that off. At the same time, we were building a bamboo fence around this lot. We were working on some gardening things. We had built a Baha'i kubo, an outdoor kitchen, and different things like that. And also I was rewiring the entire mom's house because the wiring was not done very well, and it was old, and it really needed to be redone. So there was always other projects that were going on that I spent my time in the afternoon and evening. So it was, and there was some days that we worked on this like all day, but most of the time it wasn't all day, or we would get rained out sometimes. When we started working here, it was in the rainy season, and so again, it's not like 8 hours a day all day long every day. It's more like 3.5 hours to 4 hours a day. Then the heat becomes really intense, and then you leave it for the next day. And so here you can see that Beth and Jen's working here, and we're just trying to get it flat and level as much as possible. And you can see that there's progress being made, right? The area behind us is getting quite flat and close to level. And when you say close to level, I never got it really level until the last week, and then we really worked on it, getting it level here. And the bed here, it was kind of funny because he had no clue what we were doing. He had helped out in house construction and stuff, but he never saw us like they don't do it the way that we did it. And people have never seen a round house here, circular house or a dome house. So we would through Jen translating, tell him that it's going to be a dome house and explain it to him. And the look on his face is like, you're from another planet. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, he would sit around looking like he is now, like, I'm not sure what to do, until there was like a little bit of pile, and then he would take some dirt and do the manual work. I tried to get him to say, hey, we need this level and we need this flat. And he really didn't get the concept, right? So he just didn't. And it's just the way it is. And so that's some things that are frustrating here in the Philippines. And, you have to just kind of go with the flow. Is you don't have equipment rental here, like you can rent something. Like we had to buy a plate compactor. I could just go out and rent that for a day in Canada, return it, and I would have saved money. But here we have to buy that. It's very difficult to get more like professional help. Like when we got the excavator and the front end loader, those things is not easy to get here, and if you do, sometimes you have to end up waiting quite some time to get the help. And then when you do get it, like our truck that delivered our sand and rock, it was an older truck and all beat up. And it's supposed to be able to take 4 yards in the truck, but it only carries 3 at a time because it's so old that it just breaks. It could break down, and there's wires and things and all these doohickeys just to keep it on the road and running. And even different tools is hard to come by, and help is often hard to come by. And when you do get help, they're nice people and they're good people, but professional standards are not what you have in Canada or the United States, right? And I was thinking how much easier this would be if we could just get a whole bunch of stuff and hire a skid steer, a bobcat for a day, and it would have been so much easier, and have somebody just come in 1 or 2 days and with a machine, and it would have been done. But this is the reality here. It took 4 months, and so here we are. We're kind of getting close to finishing the main section here, part of the second bedroom, and we are compacting it with a plate compactor. We have a bed doing this because he doesn't really get to do anything like this, and he feels having fun, operating this plate compactor. Like, hey, I'm actually get to drive something. They're letting me do it. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.